There is an invisible power at work within you every single moment, silently shaping your health, your happiness, and your destiny. This power is the subconscious mind, the infinite treasure you have never truly tapped into. This 16-part journey does more than lead you through stories of healing, principles of faith, and testimonies drawn from both science and religion. It places in your hands the key to using the inner voice as a creative command. Every page, every word, calls you to remember this eternal truth. You are not a seeker. You are the light itself, the wellspring of strength, and the very miracle you have been waiting for. Introduction and the miracle of the subconscious. Within every human being lies an invisible power, a silent yet invincible force. And that force is the subconscious mind. The subconscious is not some abstract concept, nor is it a hidden fragment of the intellect existing only in theory. It is a living reality, the ceaseless current flowing beneath the surface of your daily thoughts, governing nearly everything in your life. Every success or failure, every joy or sorrow, every moment of health or illness is nothing more than a reflection of what you have sown into the subconscious. When this power is understood and rightly directed, one can open the door to an entirely new way of living, where miracles are no longer foreign but the natural outcome. Observe the world around you and you will see paradoxes that cannot be denied. One person radiates health, vitality, optimism, and joy, while another is burdened with gloom, sickness, and despair. One prospers in wealth and career, while another is trapped in debt, defeat, and helplessness. One experiences love, harmony, and companionship, while another remains lonely, rejected, or unable to find connection. These differences do not rest merely on birth, nor solely on luck, but spring chiefly from the deep-seated beliefs that dwell within the subconscious of each person. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you believe, these form commands sent into that inner depth, and the subconscious will faithfully bring them forth into reality, making no distinction between what you desire and what you fear. Thus, the miracle of life does not descend from any external hand, but from the mysterious workings of the subconscious. When an incurable illness suddenly gives way to healing, when one trapped in hopelessness suddenly finds a door opening, when one lost in darkness suddenly touches light, there is always the same root. It is the moment the subconscious receives a new command, a new image, a new belief, and begins to marshal the inner processes and outward conditions to respond. The outer world is only the mirror faithfully reflecting what has been accepted within. Miracle is not something difficult to grasp. It is simply the natural union of belief and the subconscious, a belief that is planted deep, repeated often, and infused with emotion becomes a seed. The subconscious, like fertile soil, nourishes that seed until it blossoms and bears fruit in actual life. This is true in every dimension: health, finances, love, and vocation. The one who believes he is doomed to fail will, sooner or later, find reasons to fail. The one who believes he can rise, even from the deepest suffering, will find the path to stand again. The subconscious shows no favoritism. It remains loyal only to the orders you give. Think of the subconscious as a silent steward, carrying out every directive without question. If you issue commands of positivity, it will open the doors to prosperity and well-being. If you issue commands of negativity, it will not resist, but lead you into the corridors of sorrow. This explains why so many who live long in fear see calamities come upon them exactly as they dreaded. Yet others seem almost indestructible, because they hold an unshakable conviction that all will be well, and their subconscious has made it so All religions, philosophies, and systems of healing through thousands of years have spoken of this power in their own language. Some call it the soul, some call it spirit, some the hand of God, yet all converge upon the same truth. Within you resides a force of healing and creation, an inexhaustible treasure, a higher wisdom, to which you may turn at any moment if you but know how. This is not merely a matter of religious faith. It has been proven through countless personal experiences, scientific confirmations, and cases of extraordinary healing. When a person discovers the miracle in life, in truth, they are not finding anything new. They are simply lifting away the veil of ignorance, the layer of limiting beliefs that has long clouded their sight. They realize they have always held the key, and when that key is turned, a great door swings wide, opening into a life infinitely richer. This is no idle promise, but the natural law by which the human mind operates. The miracle of the subconscious is not reserved for a chosen few. It belongs to all. It matters not your age, your past, or your present condition. The subconscious does not discriminate. It only responds. A person at 70 may awaken to love anew. One who has lost everything may rebuild from nothing. One long ravaged by illness may recover with vigor, not because the world outside has changed, but because the belief within has been transformed. The key rests in your choice. You may continue to let fear, doubt, and memories of the past sow their poisonous seeds into your subconscious. Or you may begin to sow new seeds, watered with faith, gratitude, and uplifting images. From the moment you choose rightly, the miracle begins quietly but surely, rearranging every detail to lead you into the life you were meant to have. The subconscious never sleeps, never rests. It labors day and night to shape a reality that mirrors your beliefs, and this truth places supreme power in your hands. You need not go searching for miracles in faraway places. The miracle is within you, in every thought, every word, every belief you plant. When you understand this and live in harmony with it, you will find that nothing is impossible, for the subconscious itself is the miracle. Questions about the differences among people. Have you ever wondered why, though we all live in the same world, breathe the same air, and face the same universal laws of life, our destinies seem so vastly different? Some appear to be born for happiness. They walk lightly through life, blessed with abundant health, a fulfilling career, a harmonious family, and everything seems to smile upon them. Meanwhile, others struggle through each day, tormented by illness, tangled in failures, robbed of hope, and shadowed by a vague, persistent fear. Some pray once and seem to receive an immediate answer. Yet others have wept, pleaded, and begged through countless years, and heaven still appears silent. Some find meaning and purpose in life, while others feel empty, as though their days are nothing more than a chain of meaningless hours. What creates this difference? Is there truly a destiny that has already been written, an invisible power distributing joy to some and sorrow to others? Or is it nothing more than blind chance, where a few are chosen by accident for blessings and the rest left behind? If that were so, life would be nothing more than a cruel game, and humanity no more than helpless puppets. But the truth is quite the opposite. Every difference you see in this world springs from one single source: the way each person uses the mind and the beliefs they hold. What the conscious mind chooses and what the subconscious accepts will determine the entirety of one's experience. There is no favoritism here. So let me ask you, in this very moment as you listen to these words, do you carry within your heart a lingering question? Have you ever looked at the lives of others and wondered why they so easily obtain what you have long desired. Have you ever silently felt abandoned, forgotten, or robbed of the opportunities you felt you deserved? If so, be honest with yourself, for those very questions are the doorway into understanding the subconscious. You see, none of us are truly different in essence. Each of us has been entrusted with the same treasure, a mind made of both the conscious and the subconscious. Some use it wisely, sowing seeds of faith and goodness, and they reap a harvest of joy. Others, without knowing, sow seeds of fear, worry, and doubt, and they reap a life of struggle. The subconscious never rejects the seeds. You give it, it only knows to nurture and project them into reality, whether they are seeds of life or seeds of destruction. When you see someone enjoying extraordinary success, do not rush to call it luck or divine favoritism. Understand that they have learned, whether knowingly or unknowingly, to use their subconscious rightly. When you meet a person calm and strong amid storms, know that deep within them lies an unshakable belief, a light that has long been burning. And when you see someone stumbling endlessly in darkness, know that it is not because of a cruel destiny, but because they have lived too long under false beliefs, and the subconscious is only ever loyal to what it has been given. So where does the difference lie? It lies in the depths of what you truly believe. If you believe you are worthy of love, you will meet the very one who will love you. If you believe you can recover, your body will respond with healing. If you believe prosperity is natural, life will continually open doors of opportunity before you. And conversely, if you believe you are powerless, you will remain trapped in that cycle of powerlessness. My dear friend, I want to thank you for being here, for listening, and for allowing these words to touch your soul. Your listening is not merely the act of receiving, it is the sign that you are ready to question, ready to doubt old limits, and ready to open a new door for yourself. Sometimes a single sincere question is enough to shatter the walls that have held you captive for so long. And if, in this moment, a question has arisen within you asking why life is as it is, then congratulations. You have already begun the journey toward the answer. That answer does not lie outside, nor in luck, nor in the hands of another. It lies within you in what you choose to believe. And from the moment you learn how to plant new seeds in your subconscious, you will see that the differences between people are nothing more than living proof of one great law. The subconscious is always faithful, and belief itself is the law of life. The reason for writing this book, there is a profound reason why these pages were written, and it is to answer the timeless questions humanity has carried in its heart for ages. Why is it that some pray and witness miracles, while others remain lost in despair despite their endless pleas? Why is it that some walk through life with freedom and peace, while others are shackled by fear and limitation? Such differences cannot be explained merely by luck, destiny, or circumstance. They must be understood through a deeper principle, the law governing the conscious and the subconscious mind. It is this truth that inspired the birth of this book. It was not written to provide you with another set of dry theories, but to serve as a clear map, showing you how to harness the power within. Joseph Murphy understood that mankind is not lacking knowledge, but a language simple and direct enough to connect lofty principles with daily living. Too often the truths of religion, science, or philosophy are cloaked in complex terms, making them inaccessible to the majority. This book was written to remove that barrier. It presents great truths in familiar images and concrete examples so that anyone can practice them. No advanced degrees required, no scholarly training, only faith and steadfastness. The reason for writing this book is not to prove the author right or to contend with any school of philosophy. It was written with a practical aim to help human beings escape suffering and live the life they were always meant to have. Whenever a person is still bound in anxiety, trapped in memories of the past, or convinced they have no power to change their life, it is a sign they have forgotten the truth about the subconscious. This book is a reminder, a call to awaken from that sleep, to place back into their hands the key they have long carried but did not know how to turn. History offers countless witnesses to this power, from saints who healed through prayer to scientists who studied suggestion and the subconscious. All point toward the same principle. Yet the majority have believed it to be some distant power, reserved for a chosen few. This book was written to affirm that this power makes no distinction and no separation. It is within everyone. You need not belong to any religion, nor receive a blessing from another, nor change your identity. You need only to understand the principle and apply it, and the results will follow. Another purpose of this book is to reveal why so many pray without result. They prayed with their lips, but their hearts were filled with fear and doubt. They spoke words of faith, but their subconscious was saturated with denial, and the subconscious responds only to what it truly accepts as real, not to what the mouth declares. Their disappointment does not mean prayer is useless, but that they misunderstood the principle. Thus, this book was written to show what scientific prayer is, how to unite the conscious and subconscious into one power, so that when you affirm something, the subconscious immediately accepts it and makes it real. As he wrote, Joseph Murphy also sought to prove that life need not be a chain of endurance. Man was not born to be a victim of circumstance, but to be a creator. This book is a tool, a manual, a guiding light, enabling anyone to discover freedom, health, love, and abundance for themselves. It is not an idle theory, but a testimony drawn from living experiences, from real men and women whose lives were transformed through the application of these principles. The reason for writing goes beyond explanation. It is about awakening belief. For if one only understands but does not believe, the subconscious remains locked. But when understanding and belief meet, they activate a new current, a new direction for life. And the ultimate aim of these pages is to give you that union, understanding to satisfy the reason, and faith to move the subconscious into action. This book was not written to add one more title to the libraries of the world, but to be a bridge leading you from where you are to where you long to be. It was written to help you see the truth. Your life is not dictated by fate, but by the seeds you plant in your mind. It was written to show you that the miracle is not outside, but has always been within. And if each line can plant in you a new belief, then the purpose of writing this book has been fulfilled, the promise and the result. When a person truly understands and applies the principle of the subconscious mind, an entirely new door opens before them. This is not an empty promise or a sweet consolation meant to lull pain, but an inevitable result, as natural as a seed that, when planted in fertile soil, must sprout and grow. Your subconscious is the most faithful ground. It never betrays you. It only waits for the right seeds to be sown. And when you begin to plant thoughts of positivity, images of brightness, and affirmations of conviction, the outer world itself begins to shift in response. The promise here does not come from the author, nor from some supernatural force dispensing favors. It arises from the very law of the mind, as sure and unwavering as the law of gravity. You do not need to believe in gravity for it to work. It always operates. So too, the one who sows fear into the subconscious will see fear become reality. The one who sows belief in healing will witness the body restore itself. This is the promise life has proven across generations. Whoever applies it, wherever, whenever the results appear without exception. When you grasp this principle, you will no longer question the unfairness of life. You will recognize that you yourself hold the key that opens every door. If you desire love, plant within your subconscious the belief that you are worthy of love. If you long for prosperity, sow into it the image of abundance. If you yearn for peace, instill thoughts of stillness and faith that you are secure. The subconscious does not refuse, it only reflects what it has received. This is the sure promise, and the results will come as naturally as harvest follows seed time. In reality, there are thousands of examples that testify to this promise. A man once stricken with an incurable illness, upon changing his belief and praying rightly, experienced a miraculous recovery. Another, once impoverished, by impressing success firmly into the subconscious, discovered opportunities to build a career and gain wealth. Yet another, once living in loneliness, by trusting that love would come and that he was worthy of it, met his life partner at the appointed time. These stories are not rare exceptions, but evidence of a law that always holds true. The promise of the subconscious is that you will reap precisely what you sow. Yet this book does not stop at describing the law. It shows you how to sow rightly, for without understanding, you may unknowingly plant seeds of worry and doubt, and then blame life for its cruelty. With understanding, you will know that every thought must be chosen, every word measured, every image guarded, for all are seeds entering the subconscious. The results never come overnight. Just as a seed cannot become a tree in a single morning. But once you are steadfast, once you nourish with repetition and faith, the result will inevitably take form, and when it does, you will realize life has not changed because of some sudden miracle from outside, but because you have awakened the miracle within. This is the sure promise that anyone can alter circumstances, heal wounds, and shape the future if they know how to use the subconscious. It must be emphasized that results always correspond to the quality of belief sown. If the belief is half-hearted, the result will be half-hearted. If belief is riddled with doubt, the subconscious will reflect that doubt into incomplete circumstances. But if belief is whole, if the seed is sown with certainty, the result will be clear and enduring. This is why the promise of the subconscious is not a vague hope, but the guarantee of an unchanging law. When you begin this journey, you will sense the difference. You will gradually feel peace arise within, even before the outer conditions change. You will discover within yourself a quiet but unshakable confidence, as though a greater power were working alongside you. Then, step by step, opportunity by opportunity, door by door, life unfolds, and one day, looking back, you will marvel to see the promise fulfilled, the result manifested in your life as something entirely natural. This book does not promise you an easy change, but it promises you a certain change. It does not promise freedom from every trial, but it promises the strength to overcome them. It does not promise you everything in a single moment, but it promises everything in the right way, and in lasting measure. This is the difference between illusion and truth, between a hollow dream and a promise rooted in spiritual law, and the final result is not merely health, wealth, or love. It is the realization that you are no longer powerless. You have rediscovered the authority that was always yours. You now know how to shape your life from the root, no longer living as a victim, but as a creator. This is the highest promise, and this result is the greatest reward the subconscious can bestow. A personal story and healing. There are truths that can never be fully convincing when spoken only as theory. They must be proven through the vivid testimony of experience. That is why, in my journey of exploring the power of the subconscious mind, I have both witnessed with my own eyes and personally undergone cases of healing that defied the explanations of conventional medicine. One of these stories left a profound mark on me, becoming undeniable evidence of the miraculous workings of the subconscious. It was the story of a friend of mine, a man once diagnosed with what doctors called an incurable disease. The finest physicians shook their heads. The most advanced treatments offered no hope. When he heard the verdict, despair engulfed him. He believed death was near. Yet what changed the course of his destiny was not a new drug, not an outside miracle, but a renewal within his own mind. He began to practice scientific prayer, impressing upon his subconscious images of life, of a strong and healthy body, of the joy of recovering day by day. At first, he faced fierce resistance from his conscious mind. Every time he affirmed that he was well, another voice arose to deny it, to remind him that his condition was hopeless. But he persevered, not with tension, but with steady, repeated faith, gentle yet firm. He learned to imagine himself walking outdoors, breathing fresh air with a body full of vitality. He recited positive affirmations in the morning and before sleep, so that the subconscious might absorb them when the conscious mind grew quiet. He did this not for one day, but for weeks and then months. Then one morning, he realized something had shifted. The pain no longer ruled him as before. His mind was clearer, and strength began to return. Later medical results astonished the doctors, for the illness once deemed hopeless was receding. He returned to normal life, no longer a victim of disease, but living proof of the hidden power within the human mind. I share this story not to create myth, but to reveal that the subconscious does not distinguish between light or grave illness, between small or great difficulty. It simply fulfills what is impressed upon it. If you sow failure into it, failure will come. If you sow images of health, it will marshal every force to express health within the body. This is a principle, unchanging, impartial, and available to all. I too have faced struggles with my own health. There were times when my body weakened, my spirit sank, and fear of sickness pressed in. In those days, I remembered the principle of the subconscious and chose to apply it as faithfully as I had taught it to others. I sat in stillness and envisioned a warm light enveloping my body, flowing through every cell, infusing strength and new life. I repeated affirmations that I was well, that my body was responding with restoration. I allowed that image to sink deep, not with strain or desperate longing, but with the calm certainty that it was already true. After a period of perseverance, the miracle unfolded. My body recovered more swiftly than I had dared expect. In that moment, I understood. Healing is not merely theory. It is a living reality that anyone may touch if they know how to communicate with the subconscious. What I wish to emphasize is that this power is not the privilege of a chosen few, nor does it demand extraordinary talent. It is an authority already planted within every person. My friend's story, as well as my own experience, are but two of countless testimonies proving that when one changes inner belief, the outer result must change accordingly. We often imagine healing as a gift bestowed from outside, but in truth, it is the reflection of an inner state. When you sow belief in health, the subconscious reorganizes the body's functions to match that belief. When you sow belief in peace, the nervous system itself responds with relaxation and balance. Healing is not mystical. It is a natural process that begins within and manifests outward. These personal stories and others like them exist so that you may believe the miracle is not distant. It is within you, in every thought and image you choose to hold. A person can step back from the edge of despair into fullness of life simply by changing belief. And so can you. No circumstance, no diagnosis, no fear can withstand the power of a subconscious rightly instructed. This is clear testimony. Whenever you decide to believe, whenever you sow into the subconscious the seed of healing, from that moment, you have already begun the journey of restoration. The subconscious will do the rest patiently, faithfully bringing you results that perfectly reflect the belief you have entrusted to it. Scientific prayer. Prayer is not a mysterious ritual reserved only for religion or for those in suffering who plead for miracles. Scientific prayer is the deliberate application of the unchanging law of the subconscious mind. It is not the utterance of desperate pleas in the hope that some outside power will take pity. Rather, it is the process of impressing upon the subconscious a clear and definite command, which the subconscious then brings into reality. The difference between blind prayer and scientific prayer lies in attitude and belief. A request made in doubt will never yield results, but affirmation, charged with feeling and imagination, will be accepted by the subconscious and reflected in life. Scientific prayer rests on the truth that the subconscious does not judge between true and false. It only accepts what is repeated often and felt deeply. When you pray, your task is not to beg, but to establish in your mind a vivid picture of what you desire. Imagine it as already accomplished, feel the joy of having attained it, and let that feeling sink deeply into the subconscious. Once the subconscious has accepted it, it will set in motion every necessary resource to bring it forth. Some ask why they pray continually and see no result. The answer is simple. While their lips speak prayer, their hearts are filled with doubt. They affirm health, yet inwardly cling to the image of sickness. They declare wealth, yet within they feel only lack. The subconscious does not respond to empty words, but to images and emotions nurtured within. That is why scientific prayer requires you to focus on the end state, to live in the feeling that it is already accomplished, and to release every doubt. A simple way to practice scientific prayer is through affirmations combined with imagination. If you desire healing, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and envision your body fully restored. See every cell glowing with light, every organ functioning in harmony, and allow the joy of recovery to spread within you. Then repeat a simple affirmation, such as, I am perfectly healthy and full of life. Asterisk. Repeat it often, especially in the early morning and before sleep, when the conscious mind is quiet and the subconscious most receptive. Scientific prayer is not limited to health. It applies to every area of life. You may pray for peace in your home, for love, for career advancement, for financial success. The law is the same, unchanging. Whatever you sow into the subconscious with unwavering faith becomes the seed that produces outward results. This is why countless people have used this method to transform desperate circumstances, to rise from nothing into abundance, to move from loneliness into fulfillment. There is one crucial principle in scientific prayer. Never pray in tension or fear. If you affirm, while secretly fearing that it will not happen, the fear itself becomes the seed. The subconscious accepts first. That is why scientific prayer requires relaxation, stillness, and the trust that what you pray for is already true. Let the mind become a receptive space, not a battlefield of contradiction. This is why moments of quiet are vital, for when you grow still, the subconscious opens and receives. As you practice, you will discover that scientific prayer ceases to be an external act and becomes an inner sanctuary, a place of return. This is the power of the voice within, not merely words spoken, but a living presence, a silent yet powerful affirmation. That inner voice is the bridge connecting you to the subconscious, and through the subconscious to the whole universe. With perseverance in scientific prayer, you will witness a wondrous transformation. At first, you will feel peace in your soul, as though a burden has been lifted. Then, little by little, life begins to shift. Situations rearrange, opportunities appear, new people enter your path. Doors once shut swing open. One day, as you look back, you will realize that what you once sowed in prayer has become reality naturally, effortlessly, without strain. The most important truth is this: you always have the right to access this power. No permission is required, no waiting for the world to change, no outside authority to grant it. The subconscious has always been there, ready to respond whenever you communicate rightly. Scientific prayer is the key that opens that door. And once you hold that key, nothing is impossible. The unique character of this book, what allows a book to live on through time, is not the number of its pages, nor the beauty of its words, but the power it awakens in the heart of the reader. This book carries a quality rarely found elsewhere. It does not merely present knowledge, but it hands you a practical method you can apply immediately in daily life. Its pages do not exist to display dry theory, nor simply to recount miraculous healings, but to uncover the principles of the subconscious and to show you precisely how you may experience such miracles for yourself. You are not asked to believe blindly, nor drawn into a rigid system of faith. What you receive is a clear spiritual map, where each concept is directly linked to practical experience. Every principle in the book comes with evidence, with vivid stories, with concrete instructions you can follow. This is not a book to read once and leave on a shelf, but a handbook for daily practice. Its second uniqueness lies in the harmony between scientific language and spiritual language. Usually, people divide science from religion, reason from faith. Yet here you will see both united naturally. The subconscious is explained through simple, understandable laws, yet without losing its sacred essence. This allows you to believe with the heart while understanding with the mind. You will not only know that miracles are real, but also understand why they occur. This book does not impose. It evokes. It does not force you down a set path, but helps you to recognize the path already within you. Each page acts like a mirror, reflecting back to you the potential you have always carried but perhaps never noticed. As you read, you will not feel as though you are learning something foreign, but as though you are remembering something familiar, a truth that has been yours all along. That is why so many have said this book not only changed their lives, but made them feel as though they were returning to their true selves. Another defining feature is its universal application. Wherever you are, whatever you do, whatever your beliefs, these principles can be used. The sick may apply them for healing. The entrepreneur may use them to expand business. The young may use them to shape their future. The broken may use them to find peace again. There is no limit to the power of the subconscious, and this book is simply the key to that treasure, offered to anyone who chooses to use it. Still more, the book does not only aim at solving immediate problems, it leads you toward a life of wholeness. It does not stop at healing disease, at gaining money, or at finding love. It guides you to the realization that you are part of an inexhaustible source of life. By applying its principles, you do not only receive what you desire, you gradually change how you see yourself in the world. You no longer live as a seeker, but as a creator. This is the greatest transformation the book offers, and the reason for its enduring influence. Another quality that sets it apart is its simplicity coupled with effectiveness. Many works strive to impress with complexity, but this one takes the opposite path. Clear words, straightforward structure, concrete examples all serve one purpose: to help you understand and apply immediately. True power does not lie in complication, but in clarity, and this clarity makes the book valuable both to beginners and to those who have studied for years, for each can find something here to practice and to reap results. If one final uniqueness must be named, it is the book's ability to awaken belief within you, not blind belief, but faith built upon understanding and experience. As you read, you will not feel pushed away by abstract concepts, but drawn close by its simplicity and realism. You will see that its lessons are not distant from life, but touch every ordinary moment of it. And this closeness makes them easy to accept, to practice, and to witness in result. For all these reasons, this book is not something you read once, but a companion for the entire journey. In times of difficulty, you may open its pages and be reminded of your power to overcome. In moments of doubt, that you may return to a chapter and rediscover your faith. In seasons of growth, you may revisit its principles and find them lifting you higher still. This is the uniqueness of this book. It does not merely speak, it gives. It does not only teach, it guides. It does not simply inspire, it transforms. And once you allow it to become part of your path, you will see why it is not merely a book, but a doorway into a new life. The law of belief, across every age and every civilization, humanity has searched for the one principle that governs destiny and life itself. And when we look deeply, we find that all our experiences spring from a single law. The law of belief: you do not live according to what you wish for, but according to what you truly believe. Your subconscious is fertile soil, and the beliefs planted there will inevitably grow into outward reality. If the seed you sow is fear, the fruit you harvest will be anxiety and failure. If the seed you sow is belief in healing, the harvest will be health and peace. The law of belief shows no partiality. It does not care whether you are rich or poor, educated or uneducated, religious or irreligious. It operates like gravity, unchanging, certain and tireless. You may deny it, but you cannot escape its effect. Just as a seed planted in the ground will sprout according to its nature, regardless of who planted it, so too will belief, once impressed upon the subconscious, spring forth as corresponding reality. This is why understanding and applying the law of belief is the greatest turning point a person can experience. Many imagine they believe in something, when in truth their subconscious holds the opposite belief. A sick person may say they want to be well, yet deep within they are convinced their illness is incurable. A poor man may claim he desires wealth, yet in his depths he believes money belongs only to others. The law of belief does not hear your words. It responds only to the deepest conviction in your heart. And that belief alone determines your future. How then can change occur? This law also reveals something vital. Belief can be reformed. It is not fixed like stone, but pliable like clay. The subconscious accepts images, feelings, and affirmations repeated over time. When you plant new thoughts, new images with persistence and faith, old beliefs are gradually replaced. This is why scientific prayer, positive affirmations, and creative imagination are so powerful. They are not mere words. They are tools for reshaping belief. A clear example is found in those healed of so-called incurable disease. By altering belief, they began to believe that life was flowing through every cell, that an infinite power was restoring their bodies, that with each passing day they grew stronger. Once this belief took root, their bodies responded biological, neurological, and immune systems reorganized to match the new conviction. This was not mythical magic, but the natural working of the law of belief. This law also explains why some seem always fortunate, while others are constantly burdened. The fortunate believe they are worthy, that success is theirs, and so they act with confidence, attract opportunities, and connect with the right people. The unfortunate believe themselves doomed, convinced life is unfair, and so they live in fear, miss opportunities, and draw circumstances that mirror their belief. It is not the world that decides, but the belief within each person. It is important to note that the law of belief does not work on the surface of consciousness, but in the depths of the subconscious. You cannot deceive yourself with words. If your heart does not believe, to say, I am healthy, asterisk, while holding images of sickness will produce nothing. But if you nurture the image of yourself as healthy, charged with genuine feeling, until it becomes a living belief, the subconscious will accept and respond. This requires persistence, for old beliefs have been cultivated over years, and replacement takes time, but once transformed, they transform your entire life. The law of belief also warns of the peril of negative belief. If you believe you are unworthy of love, you will unconsciously sabotage relationships. If you believe you cannot succeed, you will unconsciously set limits. This is why so many live bound by limitation without knowing why. They are not chained by the world, but imprisoned by their own inner convictions. Believe in a falsehood, and you will live a false life. Believe in truth, and you will live free. And what is the truth? The truth is that you are not limited by circumstance or heredity, but only by the beliefs you nurture. Change belief, and you change experience. Place your belief in health, in abundance, in love, in peace, and you will see them gradually manifest in your life. This law never errs. It has always worked. It is working now, and it will continue to work, whether or not you are aware of it. The key lies in what you choose to believe. If you allow old beliefs to rule, you will continue to reap the same results. But if you deliberately plant new belief, life will open into a completely new chapter. Remember, the law of belief does not operate according to what you wish, but according to what you truly believe. Therefore, choose your beliefs consciously, for in doing so, you are choosing your future. The treasure within you. There is a great truth that most people overlook throughout their lives. The greatest treasure is not out there, not hidden in mountains of gold or in distant forests, but within you. From the moment you were born, you carried with you a source of inexhaustible wealth, an eternal spring that never runs dry. Yet, because it is not recognized, most live as beggars before the very door of their own treasure. This treasure is not gold or silver, nor the visible riches men chase after. It is the subconscious mind, the storehouse of creative power, infinite wisdom, and healing force granted to you by the universe. Look at the world around you. Every great achievement of humankind began with the discovery of the inner treasure. An immortal piece of music did not fall from the sky. It was summoned from the depths of the soul. A magnificent building was not only shaped by hands, but first by vision born of imagination. An invention that changed humanity was not given from outside, but awakened from the creative current already flowing within. If you can see this in the genius of others, then know that it dwells in you as well. No one is excluded. The only difference is that some know how to open the door, while others still stand outside the wall of doubt. The treasure within you does not need to be sought, but awakened It is like a deep well. The water is always there, but you must lower the bucket to draw it up. Your subconscious is that well, and faith, imagination, and positive affirmation are the bucket that draws forth living waters into your life. Each time you plant a clear image of success, happiness, or health into the subconscious, you lower the bucket. Each time you repeat it with unwavering faith, you draw the water higher, and one day, through persistence, the well bursts forth with abundance, manifesting as undeniable reality in your life. Sadly, many live their entire lives unaware of this treasure. They search for security in possessions, in other people, in outward things, only to be disappointed because it is never enough. They do not realize that all they have ever desired has always been within them: joy, peace, prosperity, love. These are the treasures already theirs. You need not beg from some distant power, you need only open the door within. For once you discover this treasure, what you need will flow outward naturally, not forced, but like flowers blooming in their season. The treasure within you has one wondrous quality. It is infinite. No matter how much you draw, it never runs dry. Every idea you receive opens the way for greater ideas. Every healing you experience reveals deeper levels of health. Every joy you live expands into higher dimensions of happiness. You cannot exhaust it. You can only enlarge your capacity to receive. This means there is no limit to the life you may create, except the limits you impose through false belief. If you doubt, ask yourself, why is it that some begin with nothing and yet build magnificent careers? Why do some diagnosed with incurable disease recover completely? Why do some who seemed lost in despair rise to shine and inspire the world? The answer is always the same. They learned to open the treasure within. They believed in a power greater than any limitation. And through that belief, they awaken the subconscious to make the impossible possible. This treasure does not come from outer learning, but from inner connection. You may read thousands of books and attend countless courses, but unless you awaken the power within yourself, you will remain empty. Conversely, once you recognize the treasure within, you have a foundation strong enough to receive all knowledge and make it your own. For it is not knowledge that transforms you, but the belief and experience arising from within. Imagine now that you hold a key, and before you stands the door to the treasure. That key is awareness. The moment you realize you are not a pauper, but the possessor of wealth, you open that door. From then on, you no longer live as a seeker, but as a creator. You no longer ask how to have, but begin to live as though you already have. And when you live in that state, the universe responds by shaping circumstances, people, and opportunities that mirror your inner wealth. The treasure within you is life itself, creative power, infinite wisdom. It is never absent, only waiting for your return. And when you finally learn how to open it, you will see that nothing outside can compare to this richness. Everything you have searched for through the years has never left you. It has always been there. In every heartbeat, every breath, every spark of awareness. Now the only step is to believe that the treasure is yours and begin to use it. No desire is too great, no problem too hard, for the treasure within can meet them all. When you remember this truth, you no longer need to seek for you. Yourself are the treasure. The dual nature of the mind. Every human being carries within a mind of two parallel aspects, the conscious and the subconscious. To understand this duality is to hold the key to mastering life. The conscious mind is like a lighthouse, shining upon the present, making decisions, reasoning, choosing, and analyzing. It has the power to distinguish and to judge, but its strength lies only on the surface. The subconscious however, is like the vast ocean deep, boundless and inexhaustible, where memories, beliefs, and habits are stored, and where the roots of creativity and hidden power reside. The conscious mind is the sower, the subconscious is the soil, and whatever you plant with thought and emotion takes root and grows therein. Many live their lives guided only by the conscious mind, believing that reason and outward effort determine all. They think, calculate, strive, and struggle, yet they forget the subconscious, which governs nearly 90% of life. The subconscious does not argue or resist. It accepts whatever the conscious mind repeats with emotion. If you continually affirm weakness, the subconscious makes it real. If you sow belief in strength and creativity, the subconscious also makes it real. The duality of the mind lies in this: the conscious is the sower, the subconscious the faithful soil, always bringing forth a harvest. The wonder comes when these two unite in one belief, then power explodes into action. When the conscious selects the right image and the subconscious accepts it, life changes swiftly. This is why it is said, what you deeply believe becomes what you live. The conscious may speak 1,000 words, but only those that reach the subconscious hold true power. And when that happens, you will understand this truth. This is the power of the voice within. Not just a voice you hear, but a space you return to, asterisk, for it is not mere sound, but the space of belief, of inner rest, the place where you return to recreate your reality. The dual nature of the mind also explains why some rise to success while others remain in failure. The successful one learns to govern the conscious mind, impressing upon the subconscious images of success, wealth, and love. The other allows the conscious to be ruled by fear and doubt, and so unconsciously sows seeds of defeat. The subconscious is so loyal that it never distinguishes between what is helpful and what is harmful. It only responds to the seed planted. For this reason, you must learn to master the conscious mind, sowing right thoughts instead of surrendering to false beliefs. Some wonder why, at times, their positive affirmations bring no result. The reason is simple. The conscious mind declares one thing while the subconscious holds the opposite belief. You may repeat, I am healthy, asterisk, yet deep inside believe sickness is inevitable. In such a case, the words cannot enter the subconscious, for they lack genuine faith. To change, you must impress upon the subconscious a new image with heartfelt emotion, with vivid imagination, and with persistence. Gradually, old belief yields to the new, and once the subconscious accepts it, results appear. This dual nature also lays upon you a great responsibility. Every thought you nurture, whether you are aware of it or not, is a seed planted into the subconscious. Worries, fears, resentments, when repeated, become commands to the subconscious and manifest accordingly. Conversely, thoughts of peace, joy, and love, when cherished, give birth to beautiful experiences. The conscious mind is the gate, and you are the gatekeeper. If you are careless, anything may enter. If you are watchful, you may choose only what gives life. The most vital truth is that the subconscious always responds to the state you live in, not the words you speak outwardly. You may say, I am happy, asterisk. Yet if you dwell in sadness and lack, the subconscious records the real feeling. Therefore, the way to align the two is to live as though your desire were already fulfilled. When you imagine, feel, and act in harmony, conscious and subconscious unite, and it is then that creative power truly awakens. The dual nature of the mind is not opposition, but complement The conscious helps you choose the seed. The subconscious makes it grow. The conscious gives you freedom. The subconscious provides the power of manifestation. To use both is to master destiny. To use only one is to remain incomplete and limited. This is why the teachings of great spiritual masters always stress the union of belief with imagination, of word with feeling, of conscious with subconscious. Remember, you do not have only one mind, but two aspects working together. When you understand and direct them, nothing is beyond reach. For in essence, you are the creator of your reality through the union of the conscious and the subconscious. And from the moment you awaken to this, you cease to live as a victim of circumstance and rise instead as the architect of your life. The power of suggestion. Every thought you allow the mind to accept is a form of suggestion, and every suggestion carries the power to shape your life. Most people do not realize that what they hear daily, what they repeat, the ideas they let sink into their soul, all become commands to the subconscious. Suggestion does not distinguish between true or false, good or bad. It only obeys, making whatever it receives into reality. Thus, if you continually feed your mind fear, failure, or sickness, the subconscious will turn them into living experiences. But if you plant belief, confidence, and positive images, they too will become your reality. Suggestion is powerful because it bypasses the gatekeeper of the conscious mind and sows seeds directly into the subconscious. A person who hears repeatedly that he is weak will eventually believe it, and from that belief, live within limits of his own making. A child raised in an atmosphere of affirmations of worth will grow up convinced of value, and that belief will carry them far. A patient told by a doctor that survival chances are slim. If he accepts this completely, the subconscious may shut down the power of recovery. Yet, and a single word of hope can also awaken extraordinary healing strength. The power of suggestion is most clearly seen in autosuggestion. Every word you speak to yourself, every thought you allow to linger in your mind, is a suggestion impressed upon the subconscious. When you look into a mirror and say, "I am healthy," asterisk, and this phrase is repeated with genuine emotion, the subconscious accepts it and begins to reorganize the whole body to respond. When you whisper to yourself, "I am confident," "I am at peace," asterisk repetition forms habit and belief, transforming the way you act in real life. Likewise, if you continually repeat negative phrases such as "I can't do anything" or "I am unworthy," asterisk, you are self-suggesting failure, and the subconscious faithfully brings it to pass. Remember, the subconscious does not filter as the conscious mind does. It is like fertile soil, ready to sprout whatever seed is planted. Suggestion is the seed, and you are the sower. Sow fear, and you will reap anxiety. Sow love, and you will reap joy and healing. This is a spiritual law that cannot be broken. Suggestion grows even stronger when combined with imagination. A person who imagines failure feels fear even before taking action. The person who imagines success walks with confidence and strength. For the subconscious does not distinguish between an actual experience and a vividly imagined one. To it, what you imagine intensely is as real as what you live. This is why athletes, before competing, see themselves victorious, so that the subconscious generates the state and the strength to match. And this is why you must learn to use imagination to suggest positive images to yourself. The power of suggestion can destroy a life, but it can also build one. The difference lies in the kind of suggestions you allow into your mind. If you let media, negative environments, or pessimistic voices fill you, you will soon be governed by them. But if you choose wisely, blocking false suggestions and replacing them with affirmations of truth, you become the true master of your life. Suggestion need not be complex. It may begin with simple affirmations repeated with faith. I am loved. I am worthy. I am healthy. I am prosperous. Asterisk. When such words become the rhythm of your mind, they sink into the subconscious and emerge as reality. This is not self-deception, but the correct use of the natural law of the mind. And once you understand this, you will never again allow negative suggestion to hold power over you. Look around, and you will see evidence of this law everywhere. The pessimist, forever anxious about failure, continually attracts failure. The one who believes he is fortunate, even in difficulty, finds opportunity. The one who believes in healing eventually finds health. All of it springs from the suggestions they have nurtured within. The power of suggestion is not something you can escape, for each day you are surrounded by it, through society, through family, through your own inner dialogue. But you can choose, you can be conscious, and you can direct it for good. By practicing self-suggestion with positive affirmations, you reset the entire operating system of mind and body. You become commander instead of captive. And remember, the most effective suggestion is that which is clothed with emotion. When you affirm with conviction, with gratitude, with joy, the subconscious accepts at once. When you affirm with doubt, it skims the surface and leaves no mark. Therefore, let every word you speak to yourself be a declaration charged with the power of the heart. From this moment, you may begin planting new suggestions, seeds of life, of love, of success. With persistence, you will see your whole life reshaped. This power is always present, always active, always waiting for your use. Suggestion is the key that unlocks the door to all you have ever desired. Proofs of healing and life transformation in the flow of life, the evidence of the power of belief, and the subconscious is everywhere. If you are willing to look closely, you will see thousands of stories of healing and rebirth. There are those who were declared hopeless by modern medicine, told they had no chance left. Yet by holding an unshakable faith in recovery, by affirming daily that health was returning, they rose again and lived many more years in fullness and joy. There are those who once drowned in poverty and failure, but by changing their beliefs, by sowing into the subconscious images of wealth and prosperity, they completely transformed their lives, rising from nothing to become admired examples of success. One woman, once devoid of hope under the weight of a terminal illness, refused to accept fate. Instead, she began to pray, to envision every cell in her body bathed in the light of healing. Each day she repeated affirmations of health and life. Gradually she felt her strength return, until at last doctors were astonished to find her symptoms vanish. She did not fight the disease. She transformed her mental state, and the subconscious did the rest. This was not some far-off miracle, but the natural operation of spiritual law. There was a man caught in the spiral of debt, so desperate he believed his path was sealed. Yet he learned to plant into his mind images of financial freedom instead of constantly imagining creditors chasing him. Each night before sleep, he pictured himself living in abundance, clearing his debts, building new work. Within a few years, he discovered the right business opportunity, step by step escaping debt. He became living proof of the power of belief. The question now is this: have you ever witnessed or experienced yourself a change in life brought about purely by faith? Was there a moment when, by pausing, letting go, and trusting everything seem to arrange itself for the better? If you have, then you too are part of these proofs. Thank you for being here, for listening not only with your ears but with your heart. Your attentive presence breathes life into this story, because your attention itself is the substance by which new seeds are planted in the subconscious. Proofs of healing do not appear only in matters of health, but also in love, relationships, careers, and purpose. A couple once standing at the edge of divorce chose not to drown in blame, but to sow into their subconscious images of harmony and joy, of the happiness they once shared. They affirmed together that their love was strong enough to overcome any trial. As positive suggestion took root, feelings rekindled, and their marriage was reborn. This shows that even in relationships, faith can heal and restore connection. The healing power has also changed the lives of countless souls, once lost in anxiety and fear. Some carried dread for years, haunted by old memories, until they began practicing scientific prayer, impressing upon the subconscious affirmations of peace. They imagined themselves walking in inner freedom, living in serenity. Gradually, fear dissolved. They rediscovered balance and confidence. They no longer sought salvation outside, for they had become their own deliverance. Why are these proofs so important? Because they reveal that spiritual principles are not mere theories, but living truths to be applied. When one changes belief, one changes reality. When one sows new seeds, one reaps new harvests. The subconscious does not reject, it only fulfills what you affirm with deep emotion. And real-life testimonies remind us that anyone, in any circumstance, can rebirth their life if they harness the power within. The key is not to hear these stories as distant memories of others, but as mirrors reflecting yourself. If they could do it, why not you? If they could heal or find love, peace, and success, then your subconscious too carries the same potential. The only difference lies in whether you will dare to believe and to sow rightly. Finally, remember that every testimony is an invitation. It invites you to step beyond old limits, beyond the chains of false belief, and begin sowing new suggestions for yourself. Then you will not merely listen to others' stories, you will become the story others tell. And perhaps one day, the next testimony of healing and life transformation will be you. Principles of practical application. All knowledge becomes meaningless if it is not applied, and the power of the subconscious truly reveals itself only when it is brought into daily life. Spiritual principles are not meant to remain preserved in books. They are meant to be lived, to be practiced until they become as natural as breath itself. For only when action walks hand in hand with faith, when affirmation is joined with emotion and imagination with perseverance, does the subconscious open the pathway to transformation. The first principle of application is consistency. The subconscious does not respond to scattered, passing thoughts. It responds to steady repetition. An affirmation becomes a true command only when it is sown again and again, accompanied by feeling. Therefore, choose a short, clear statement containing what you desire, and repeat it daily, especially before sleep and upon waking. These are the two windows of time when consciousness relaxes and the subconscious most readily receives new seeds. The second principle is vivid imagination. Let your mind build a living picture of what you long for. If you seek health, imagine yourself moving freely, enjoying the vitality of your body. If you desire prosperity, picture yourself in your dream home, holding checks in your hands, doing the work you love in freedom. The clearer the image, the more easily the subconscious recognizes it and transforms it into reality. The third principle is emotion. Every affirmation comes alive only when infused with genuine feeling. If you repeat words mechanically, they leave no mark upon the subconscious. But when you speak with conviction, with gratitude, with true inner vibration, the subconscious records it immediately. Emotion is the flame that ignites the spiritual seed. The fourth principle is releasing doubt. Many attempt these methods while still questioning and worrying, wondering when or if results will come. Yet doubt itself is a contradictory suggestion. Blocking the flow of the subconscious, learn to let go of skepticism and live as though what you desire is already true. This is not self-deception, but identification with the state you long for. The fifth principle is harmonious action. The subconscious opens the way, but you must still take the steps. If you desire health, let the subconscious inspire you to eat well and move regularly. If you desire prosperity, let it awaken creativity and lead you to opportunity. Outer action and inner operation must walk together. This is how you establish a complete rhythm. The sixth principle is choosing your environment. The subconscious is highly sensitive to what you receive daily. If you allow yourself to be surrounded by stories of despair, by the negativity of others, you are sowing false seeds into your mind. Choose instead an environment that nourishes you, people who uplift, words and sounds that affirm, images that inspire. The environment is the stream that waters the soil of the subconscious. The seventh principle is gratitude. Each time you express gratitude for what has already happened and for what is on its way, you open the channel of reception. Gratitude is not merely a moral attitude. It is a vibration that allows the subconscious to cooperate with ease. When you feel thankful, even before your desire appears, you affirm to the subconscious that it is already real, and so the results come swifter. The eighth principle is persistence. Do not expect everything to change overnight. Just as a seed requires time to sprout, affirmations require time to take root in the subconscious. You cannot dig up the seed each day to see if it has grown. You must faithfully nurture it with words, with images, with faith. Patience is the evidence of your trust. These principles are not lofty theories. They are tools you can begin using today. Choose an affirmation, a picture in imagination, has a feeling of gratitude, and practice them with steadiness each day. Step by step, you will see your life transformed, not by some external miracle, but by the natural operation of your inner mind. When you apply these principles, you live as a co-creator with the universe. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a master over it. This is the very path walked by every spiritual teacher, and it is a path you too may tread. The subconscious shows no favoritism. It only obeys. Therefore, when you sow rightly, you will reap rightly, and the harvest will stand as the most powerful proof of the strength you have awakened, evidence from religion and science across every civilization. Religion and science have often been regarded as two separate paths. One seeks truth through faith and revelation. The other pursues reality through reason and experiment. Yet, when observed more deeply, we see they are not in conflict, but in complement, for both aim toward the same summit, the discovery of the infinite power at work within man and throughout the universe. What religion calls faith, science calls spiritual law, and both declare that thought and belief are the forces that shape reality. In the sacred scriptures, whether in the Bible, the Vedas, the teachings of the Buddha, or the wisdom of Eastern sages, there is a consistent reminder that thought is the seed of destiny. Humanity is told that faith can move mountains, that when one prays believing, it shall be done. These are not distant, mystical metaphors, but affirmations of how the subconscious operates. This is the very power Joseph Murphy described as the law of belief. Modern science, through discoveries in psychology and medicine, has confirmed these truths in different language. The placebo effect demonstrates that a pill with no active ingredient, when given with the suggestion of healing, can ease pain, close wounds, even improve chronic illness. The power does not reside in the pill, but in the belief placed upon it. The subconscious receives the suggestion of recovery and sets the body's healing mechanisms in motion. This proves that faith is not merely a vague emotion, but a genuine biological and spiritual force. Neuroscience has also revealed that the brain is plastic. It can reshape its structure through repeated thoughts and actions. Every affirmation, every positive visualization is a form of retraining the nervous system. Repetition forms new neural pathways, which become new habits, and in turn, new realities. This echoes the ancient teaching that sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. Religion and science may appear divided, yet at this intersection, they affirm one another. Scripture proclaims that the word spoken will not return void, but shall accomplish its purpose. Psychology affirms that every suggestion impressed upon the subconscious will seek its expression in life. This is the point of convergence, the proof that spiritual law operates unfailingly, no matter what name you give it. When you pray, you are issuing a command to the subconscious. When you affirm, you are planting a seed in unseen soil. When you imagine, you are drafting the blueprint of future reality. Both religion and science agree. If you do these with faith and persistence, results must follow. Evidence is found in countless stories of ordinary people accomplishing extraordinary things through the hidden strength within. In this harmony, we realize that truth does not belong exclusively to any doctrine. The truth is that your subconscious is the gateway to infinite power. Every religious ritual, every scientific method, ultimately serves as a path back to the inner center. And that is why the reminder echoes within you. This is the power of voice, within not merely a voice you hear, but a space you return to. Asterisk. This inner voice is not like an external sound, but a sanctuary, a dwelling place, a living testimony to the unity of faith and reason. Looking back, we see that human history has been the journey of seeking confirmation of the same eternal truth. Belief shapes reality. The ancients expressed it in the language of the divine. The moderns express it in formulas and graphs. Yet the essence remains unchanged. You are the bridge where religion and science meet. When you practice spiritual principles with certainty, you live not only by faith, but by truth, confirmed through both personal experience and objective evidence. And the wonder of it all is that you need not choose between religion and science. You may embrace both as two supporting hands, one offering the warmth of faith, the other the clarity of reason. When these two currents unite, and you walk a steadfast path where prayer is no longer supplication but declaration, and affirmation is no longer a dream, but reality taking shape, the universal principle of healing, all methods of healing, whether they arise from religion, philosophy, or science, operate upon one immutable principle. Man is healed not by external forms, but by the belief and agreement of the inner mind. The body is not the cause. It is only the manifestation. The true cause lies in the stream of thoughts, emotions, and suggestions that have been sown into the subconscious. When false seeds are replaced by affirmations of truth and harmony, the body adjusts itself, for the body is always a mirror of the mind. Throughout history, the miracles of healing recorded in sacred scriptures and ancient medical traditions rest upon this very foundation. When a person touches the conviction that they will be made whole, the body responds. When an individual places complete trust in the presence of a higher power, the subconscious opens instantly and releases its power of restoration. This reveals that healing does not come from outward form, but from the resonance between conscious thought, the subconscious acceptance, and faith. Modern science confirms this with clinical evidence. The placebo effect demonstrates that a pill with no active substance can still cure disease, provided the patient believes absolutely in its efficacy. It is belief that makes the difference. Physiological change hormones, immunity, and cellular response arises not from the pill, but from the subconscious, reacting to the suggestion of healing. This affirms that the universal principle of healing is faith and acceptance, not mere material mechanism. Remarkably, this principle knows no boundary of creed or doctrine. One person may pray to God, another may meditate upon unity, another may repeat positive affirmations. The forms differ, but the foundation remains. When the subconscious is planted with unwavering faith and harmonious emotion, healing occurs. The subconscious does not distinguish language, ritual, or tradition. It responds only to genuine feeling and belief. This principle also explains why some prayers succeed and others fail. It is not because God is partial, nor because the ritual is imperfect, but because belief is divided. One may pray for health, yet inwardly hold fear of illness, and it is the fear that the subconscious records. Another may utter a single affirmation with absolute conviction, and the result appears. Thus, the decisive factor is not form, but the unity of belief, emotion, and word. The principle of healing is also rooted in the power of release. Many harbor resentment, anxiety, or guilt for years, and these states produce tension, weaken the immune system, and lead to illness. When they learn to forgive, to let go, to unburden the heart, the body naturally restores balance. Forgiveness is not only an ethical act, it is one of the most potent medicines of the spirit. When the mind is freed, the subconscious immediately sets in motion the process of healing. Another aspect of this principle is harmony with natural law. The body is designed to restore itself. Wounds mend, bones knit, cells regenerate endlessly. Yet when the mind obstructs with fear, worry, and tension, this natural mechanism is blocked. When the mind relaxes, when faith returns, the natural flow resumes, and healing proceeds as surely as any law of life. This is no miracle, but the very nature of existence. This principle reveals that each person is the greatest physician of themselves. No one else can substitute your belief. Doctors, priests, or therapists may assist, they may impart faith, suggestion, or encouragement, but it is you, through acceptance and trust, who activate the inner power. Once you recognize this, you cease to be dependent and become master of your own healing. Healing is not a sudden accident. It is the process of returning to original order. Your body was formed by infinite intelligence, and that intelligence has never left you. When you align with it, you merely remove the coverings of fear and doubt, allowing its current to flow. Every religion has spoken of the power of faith. Every field of modern medicine has documented the effect of belief, and every personal experience confirms that when the mind changes, the body follows the universal principle of healing. Then is the unity of mind and belief. When the conscious mind gives a command, the subconscious accepts it with conviction, and the body responds by restoring harmony. There is no need to seek outside, for the healing power has always been within you. What you need is to use it through affirmation, imagination, gratitude, and forgiveness. And from the moment you begin, you will see yourself no longer as the victim of disease, but as the master of your own health. You will understand that healing is not a rare gift, but an inherent power, and when you live in this truth, both body and soul will stand as the clearest testimony to this eternal principle. Conclusion and final message. Everything you have walked through, from the beginning until now, has not been abstract theory, but a clear map guiding you back to the true power within. From the very first pages, you were reminded that the subconscious is not a dark and hidden void, but a treasure waiting to be unlocked. You have seen that the difference between those who succeed and those who live in limitation is not luck, but the way they believe and the way they use their mind. You have heard stories of healing, testimonies from both religion and science, all pointing to one central truth. Thought and belief shape reality. When you understand that prayer is not begging but affirming, you step into a new dimension of life. When you realize that the subconscious does not distinguish between good or bad, but simply responds to what is sown into it, you begin to see both the immense responsibility and the great freedom you possess. When you apply the principle of belief, you discover that every outer change begins with an inner change. And when you sense that the body is always listening, that every cell follows the command of the mind, you understand that healing is not something distant or rare, but the natural essence of life itself. All of this leads you to a profound conclusion. You are no longer the seeker, you are the creator. You no longer need to depend upon external conditions. For the source of health, abundance, and happiness has always been within you. When you plant, you shall reap. When you believe, you shall see. When you imagine from the place of knowing that it is already so, reality must bend itself to reflect that image. This is not mere theory, but an eternal principle proven through thousands of years and countless lives. The final message is a confirmation for you. You have the right to choose how you live. You may continue to allow the subconscious to run on old patterns of fear, worry, and limitation, or you may begin to reprogram it, planting affirmations of health, wealth, and peace. The choice is always yours. No one can believe for you. No one can imagine for you. No one can affirm for you. And likewise, no one can stop you. Once you have chosen to live as a complete and whole being, when you remember that every word spoken with faith is a command to the subconscious, you will be more mindful of the language you use. When you know that every image you hold in imagination is a seed for tomorrow, you will choose harmonious, radiant images. When you realize that emotion is the current that illuminates thought, you will learn to dwell in gratitude, joy, and peace. And from there, you will see miracles unfold in your life as a natural consequence. You need no elaborate rituals. You do not need anyone to confer power upon you. You need only to live from the state you wish to see expressed. If you desire health, begin to think, speak, and act as one who is healthy. If you desire success, imagine, affirm, and act from the place of success. If you desire peace, focus your mind upon peace in this very moment. The subconscious does not know past or future. It only responds faithfully to the signal you give. And when that signal is whole and unwavering, reality cannot help but manifest it. Therefore, the final message is simple yet infinitely powerful. Live as though you already are what you desire. Affirm as though it is already present. Give thanks as though you have already received. For when you live in that state, the universe aligns, opening doors, sending people, circumstances, and opportunities to transform the inner into the outer. This is law. This is principle. And this is unchanging truth. As you close this journey, remember that what you have learned is not to be stored in the intellect, but to be lived, applied, and experienced. Let every affirmation become habit. Let every positive image become the picture you nurture. Let every harmonious emotion become the atmosphere you breathe each day. And from there, you will not only see transformation in yourself, but you will become a light for those around you. The final message is this affirmation: you are the light you have been seeking. You are the strength you have prayed for. You are the miracle you have been waiting to see. And from this moment on, if you choose to live in that truth, you will step into a new life, not one ruled by the past, but one shaped by faith and creative consciousness. You already have everything. There remains only one thing: use it. After all, you need nothing more to begin. Every tool, every principle, every testimony points to one truth: healing, abundance, and peace have always been within you. Your subconscious never sleeps. It listens to every word, every image, every feeling you impress upon it. When you choose to live as though what you desire is already present, the entire universe responds. Affirm with faith. Imagine with gratitude. Walk with peace. For from this very moment, you are no longer the one seeking the light. You are the light itself.